Okay, so I hit record. I don't really know exactly what I'm going to say, but I had a lot to talk about this trip to Japan this year. And so I might be a little bit rambly. I might be a little random and off topic. Um, when I have the shower thoughts for stuff like this, I tend to have a very confident, thought out, conversation. And I'm like, yeah, I can say that and that. And then I hit the play button and then I fucking forget everything. Probably everybody has this experience. I don't think I'm unique in any way. But I will say this year, this is my third year in Japan. I come every year in December, and I don't know what next year is going to be. I would kind of like to try maybe a different season, maybe like March or something, but I'd probably have to skip a year to prepare for that. Um, so we'll see. But what I will say is, every year I come to Japan, I think I fall more and more in love, not with the culture itself, I guess. No, that's not true. The country itself. I do love the culture. Um, I love the people. I like people. I don't care for places. Japan is cool and all. I think that a lot of people who grew up watching anime like I did, they see Japan as like a spectacle, like a theme park, like an amusement park. And to some degree, I can sort of see why they think that. But to me, I've only ever cared about the people. Even from childhood, I didn't really want to go to Japan just to go to Japan for my entire life. And that being said, I started watching anime when I was like 5 or 6 years old. I was watching VHS import videos of like the Majin Buu saga before Toonami was even playing it. Um, I've always loved Japanese, like the language, the music, the anime, the entertainment, the culture, all that stuff. Um, so I feel like I got a head start on everybody. I'm 36, so I mean that's way before like Japan really caught on in America. Um, over the years, I would pick up more and more on it. I started out like everybody does, where you say Ryu instead of Ryu, Sakura instead of Sakura. But very early on, I kind of adapted to like proper pronunciation. I was able to distinguish like what's anime and what's real. Also, I'm not as jacked as I usually am. The cortisol spike and the water retention is murdering me right now. I feel like a puffy mess right now, but I'll get it back. My flight's tonight. It's a little earlier because I had to rebook it, but I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to get back into my routine, hit the gym every day, and lean out again. I had a six pack before I got here. It's more like a fucking water balloon right now. Anyway, you know, uh, something that I think is really funny is like for somebody like me who's always been like super invested in the Japan in terms of like interest. I didn't really want to come here until I finally started making friends because like I feel like my experience in Japan is a little more unique than most people in that I experienced Japan with my friends, and my Japanese is okay. It's getting there. It's almost like conversational. I can have simple conversations. Just for a little demo, this is what I sound like. この例は俺の日本語。いつも日本語勉強してる。でも、なんかまだゴミだよ。捨ててください。じゃあ、とりあえず頑張る。So let's go back to English. Um, you know, it took me a while to get there. Uh, over the years from childhood, I would take notice, take listen, try to get words. I mean, everybody learns the popular words like kawaii, nani, ohayo, konbanwa. But until like probably like 3 or 4 years ago, I didn't I didn't formally study. Like I tried here and there, but I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have friends to practice with. I didn't have people to show me what it was. And so back to my initial topic, my initial point, I don't care about the sightseeing stuff. Going to shrines by myself, taking pictures or whatever, that means nothing to me. This isn't my culture. But with my friends, it's an experience. My friends can explain to me the proper etiquette, right? The cleansing yourself at the water like fountain places, right? Washing your hands, rinsing your mouth out, ringing the bell, clapping twice, stuff like that. I got a firsthand experience at various shrines doing that with my friends. And to me, that alone is more impactful than me coming over here, not knowing anything, having main character syndrome where it's all about me and my fucking good time and fuck the culture and, I'm going to get my good time. And I will say, if you're an American that does that, fuck you. Seriously, fuck you. I walk around Tokyo and other places, and I hear these foreigners look at the culture, and they always have these comments like, "Can you believe they do this?" Like, "Oh, why do they do it this way?" Listen, that's the culture. Just accept it. Don't rebel against it. Don't compare it to what you know. Don't be like, "Oh man, this sucks." Like, we don't do it this way. Cool. Well, they do it this way, and you need to accept that. I'm always really respectful. I try to walk on the correct sides. I don't try to like stand in traffic to get my fucking picture. And I'm gonna be honest, the only reason I take pictures is because people that know me want me to take pictures. If that wasn't the case, I'd probably take a few pictures here and there for the memory, but I wouldn't be taking nearly as many pictures as I do now. And I mean, that's just the type of person I am. I want to live in the moment. I want to experience those things firsthand. And like I said, having friends to show me around and to take me to these places and so I can avoid the tourist traps and stuff, I feel like I've got a leg up on the experience. Because up until I made friends, like genuinely, I just did not have an interest in going to Japan. I loved Japanese stuff, but not knowing what I'm doing, not knowing where I'm going, like that's so uninteresting to me. And the first time I came to Japan was the first time I traveled anywhere, and I did it completely by myself. It was the first time I rode a plane by myself. It's the first time I picked a destination to travel to by myself. And I've learned so much about traveling, about myself, what I'm capable of, what it's like somewhere else. And I'll be honest, a lot of things here make sense to me. Everybody's trying to just keep the peace. It's a high trust society. You know, the average 12-year-old Japanese kid is more mature than the average 18-year-old high school senior in America. They have responsibility. They have the social awareness on like how to conduct themselves. Like for instance, in America, people get all up in arms about people talking like rough and using swear words and stuff. Language is language. And here, like, I mean, swearing here is a little bit different than in America, but nobody gets like gravely offended by it. And like, let's say you had like an adult entertainment shop next to a school in America. Everybody'd be like, what the fuck? How dare you? But like that shit exists here, and like kids follow the rules. They know it's 18 and up, and you don't go into those fucking shops. I don't know, maybe there's exceptions here and there, but like for the most part, like for example, I've seen times where like people would talk about drinking age. The drinking age here is 20, and people follow that rule. They don't break it. In America, you got people trying to get fake IDs. They're trying to get an adult that's cool enough to get them alcohol and booze and stuff like that, and they're trying to break the rules. But like everybody here follows the rules. It's a high trust society. You go to a restaurant where it's so, and I will say this is the one thing against Japan. Like if you're obese and you're like a bigger person, you're not having fun here, like at all. Because like you'll have all these shops that are so narrow, like you're just like this trying to eat, right? This is your position. And so you'll leave your luggage unattended in front of the shop. And in America, you're like, oh fuck no. And no, I agree with you. No, fuck no. But in Japan, like it's so high trust, like you're fine. You can leave your shit unattended. Nobody's gonna come over and be like, "Ooh, what's this?" and then fucking take it. So that's cool. And in talking about the culture and the people, I'm gonna be honest, it's been like this for a long time, but after this trip, y'all American women are dead to me. I mean, y'all have been dead to me for a long time, but like just the Japanese like women, the looks, the demeanor, the vibe, the way they conduct themselves, the way they talk. And I know there's always going to be somebody who's like, oh, they're submissive. You just want to submiss. If you think Japanese women are submissive and docile, like, tell me you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're confusing social awareness and trying to keep the peace with submissiveness, okay? Like, Japanese women have their own wants and needs and expectations. It's just they don't fucking throw it out there in public, I'm sure, like, sometimes there's a rare, like, occurrence where people speak up when it's inappropriate to do so or whatever, but for the most part, like they know, like your business is your business. Not everybody needs to know it. But in America, how many of these entitled boss bitches fucking I don't need no man, blah 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 blah. Like, I don't want to deal with that. If you don't need a partner, then I don't want to try and be your partner. You know what? Like, I've had so many good interactions with Japanese women here. I've had the chance this year to really practice my Japanese and get, you know, exposure to it, like one-on-one conversation. And I've always had good conversations, and you know, it, I've only had positive interactions with women over here, and I don't know, maybe I'm good looking for them. I mean, let's be honest, you know. No, I'm just kidding. I feel like shit right now. if I was if I was in my usual like form, I'd be like, yeah, I'm a good looking guy. You know, I may not be 6 foot tall. I may not be making six figures, even though I'm pretty close to that. You know, I'm the catch. Y'all American women, y'all are fucking nuisances. Y'all are just they got a word for people like y'all in Japanese, and it's called mendokusai. That's American women. A pain in the ass. And I'm just not interested anymore. And doubly so, if it's like a white girl that looks like my mom in any way, shape, or form, I know what conventional attractive people look like, but the more you remind me of my mom, the more I am horrified. I want nothing to do with you. Um, anyway, where was I? So yeah, Japan's great, and if there was a way that I could move here, I mean, a lot of my friends have said, "Hey, when are you gonna move here?" You know, and I mean, the highest compliments that I've received is that I understand the culture well enough that I conduct myself in a way that time and time again, I hear my Japanese friends like, "Oh, that's very Japanese of you. Like you have the Japanese temperament, the mentality." And it's like, I don't want to be like weird and romanticize and be like, I respect the culture. I mean, I do, but it's not that hard. You just have to pay attention. These dumb fucking content creators, they hang off sakura trees and fucking treat it like, their playground that they grew up with in America. Like, hey, this isn't America. And those fucking idiots who drive like Mario Karts around fucking Tokyo thinking it's all fun and it's about their good time or whatever. Y'all are just a pain in the fucking ass. Like, seriously, I don't even think Japanese people like that shit. you know Keep to yourself. Be respectful, don't cause a scene. And these motherfuckers on trains doing these dance videos and these loud things, man, I love videos of them motherfuckers getting knocked the fuck out. I wish it could be me that knocks them out, because honestly, I hate those motherfuckers. Like, nobody cares about you, bro. You're like, maybe you're a popular content creator now, but your shelf life is limited. At some point, nobody's gonna know who the fuck you are anymore, with rare exception. Um, so that's my piece on that. Uh, but if there was a realistic way where I could move here, I I have a really good job, right? My job has great insurance. I have MS, and my insurance covers my MS costs, which is upwards of over 20,000 a year, right? If I had to pay for that, and I don't know how I would do that here. I don't even know what I would do for work. And like right now, I have like the greatest job I could possibly have for my lifestyle. My daily routine is I wake up at 5 a.m. I'm at the gym by 6 a.m., usually like 5:30, 5:40. I get an hour workout in, I come in, I shower off, I eat breakfast, and then I work for 8 hours from home. I work from home, and I have for like the better part of a decade now. I'm probably moving on 10 years of working at home. Uh, and I just don't know what that would look like here. I mean, if I had a real reason to, if I had like a Japanese girlfriend or wife or something like that, or something like that, I'd be a little more serious about it. Um, and I think I could adapt to the culture, and I'm going to continue to get better and better at Japanese, and I'm going to continue to try my best. And whatever comes of that is whatever comes of that. And I've had some great experiences here that I've never had in America. And there's so many differences that I think of just the way people conduct themselves here versus how people conduct themselves in America, that I really think we could take some lessons from. Japan's not perfect. They have their problems. Don't get me wrong. But when it comes to conducting yourself in a social setting amongst other people, I mean, they're just some of the best. And it really helps that like every girl here is so cute. I could people watch in Tokyo all day. in Osaka. I will say I think I like Osaka a bit more than Tokyo. Like my Giyu dream cloak that I bought right here. This has got to be like the most popular thing I could have brought here. I'd be walking around Osaka and just every 5 minutes, Giyu, 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 something like that. Osaka people are so friendly and they're so cool, and the girls are so unbelievably cute and beautiful. And you know, I've had some really great experiences doing that. And I love all my friends, and I'm happy to see them, and every time with them is great. I'm not a drinker, but when I'm with them, I accept the social like expectations and the pace and lemon sour, lemon sour kudasai. Uh, I'm drinking when I'm with them. Although I will say I've never been drunk in Japan. I've had nights where I've drank like three highballs, three beers, and like five lemon sours, and I'm like barely buzzed. That shit runs right through me. I don't know if it's just I'm built different, which I am. I'm gonna be honest, um, or if it's just Japan's alcohol pours are just that weak. I don't know. But I have a good time, and I do want to talk about one of the greatest things that's happened to me that I'll remember for the rest of my life. I was in Osaka walking around by myself, and I've always loved Japanese music, always since I was a kid. And back then, people looked at me weird for that. And I've always loved anime and stuff, but specifically music is like one of my things. Like my entire Spotify playlist is nothing but Japanese music. I refuse to let it recommend me anything like American music. Now, don't get me wrong, I grew up listening to alternative rock and stuff like that, and so I like that stuff, but it's not my favorite. And I remember a time when I was a kid where I would try and share my music with people, and they'd be like, "You're so cringe, dude. What the fuck is wrong with you?" And I realized like, okay, this is my thing. And I stopped talking about it with people. And I didn't feel bullied. I didn't feel insecure about it. I was like, okay, I accept it's the thing I like and nobody else does, and so whatever. Fast forward to like the last 5 years, and Japanese music is like well revered amongst everybody, right? Like, well, not everybody, but a lot of people. It's like it hits like the top 100 global billboards and stuff like that. And you'll see like all these communities, like the black community, doing like fucking these TikTok dances to like some hype, like Yoasobi or something like that. And I was going through my rap this year on Spotify, and I don't know what it was, just seeing the success that Japanese music has had kind of made me really emotional, because like finally people are starting to catch on and realize like just how good they are and how talented all these people are, and especially the women. And that made me so happy to see that like people finally understand, cuz like if you're one of those people who's like, "Oh, I can't listen to music I don't understand." That's bullshit. Music is a universal language. If you if you listen to this music and you listen to the raw emotion from all these singers and you can't understand what's trying to be conveyed there, I don't know what to tell you. Like you're not paying attention. Like for example, if you go look up Otto's Crime and Punishment cover and you listen to that song and you tell me you don't understand the emotion happening in that song, that's on you, man. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like you're you're dead inside, you know. And it's so funny because a lot of times when I talk about Japanese music with my Japanese friends, I've heard before, like, I think you know more about Japanese music than I do, which is also funny because a lot of my Japanese friends listen to like classic hip hop and R&B from like the 80s and 90s, which is kind of surreal in a way because like I know all that music, I can listen to it. Like it's funny to see how much they like that. So it's kind of like the same thing in reverse, right? Like they grew up listening to that stuff and they really like that, whereas like I had the opposite experience. So in that way, we understand each other. Um, but so back to my thing. I went to a karaoke bar. Yes, it's karaoke, not karaoke. We've been pronouncing that wrong. For example, Honda is not Honda, it's Honda. Subaru. Y'all have been saying that shit wrong for fucking years. But it's too late now. It's how everybody knows it, so I can't change that. Whatever. um, so it was a karaoke bar where you pay to be there for like an hour or whatever. You can do like all you can drink. And I just so happened to go there when the CEO of CyberConnect 2 was there. And he was there with the development team and they were having a good time. And I remember thinking, as I was going down there, I was like, if anybody like encourages me or sets me up for, to do a song, fuck it, I'll do it. And so the place has a live band that does like the music for all the songs that you select. They give you a pad, you select the song, and they know all the popular songs. And when I was working, initially, I didn't start working until I was like 19, 20, officially into the workforce. And I remember when I was working a temp job at a warehouse, every day I'd have to wait like 2 or 3 hours to get picked up because I didn't have a car, I couldn't drive, and I was subject to whoever could pick me up. And I remember while I was waiting, I would sing the song Sora Iro Days, which is the theme song for Gurren Lagann. And it's a mega popular song. And I remember singing it like every day for like an hour every day until I finally knew how to sing it, even though I didn't speak Japanese. And so that stuck with me forever. And I was like, I was talking to the CEO and I was telling him, he was telling me like the games they worked on, which is like all those arena fighters, like the Naruto Ultimate Storm, the Demon Slayer, the Dragon Ball games and stuff like that. And he was like really excited and proud of them. And he should be. I mean, it's cool to make games like that, right? And he handed me his business card. And I didn't realize he was the CEO until he gave me the business card. And I looked at it later and I was like, holy shit, that guy was the CEO. He was so cool. He was so charismatic. He's probably like the most prominent person I've ever met in real life because I don't meet a lot of people. And they had just sang a song, and he's like, "Oh, do you sing songs?" And I told him, and he's like, "Okay, I'll request it for you." And I was like, "Okay." So, so I'm like, "My music is garbage, though. Boku no koe ga gomi da yo." And he was like, "Daijoubu, daijoubu." So everybody was super supportive of me. The other patrons there were super supportive of me. So I got on stage. They're playing the song. I would have recorded it, but I needed my phone because I couldn't. There were sections of the songs I haven't sang in a while. I needed the lyrics to remember, and I can't read Japanese that fast right now. Like it's still pretty hard for me to read fast, so the screen wouldn't have been too helpful for me. And I remember I was singing there, and I was like more confident than I normally was because people were supporting me, and so I got through that song, and everybody was just like, they were so happy for me. And I thought, what a great life experience. I'm never going to forget this. And I've had various life experiences like that. And I got to interact with so many cute girls this year, and I got to use my Japanese and stuff like that. And, I'm a good boy, by the way. Uh, but there was also some funny moments. Like, so right now I'm in Kabukicho, which is the place that the Yakuza games are based off of. The make believe one is Kamurocho, but it's just Kabukicho. And as I was going back to my hotel, like the first night, there was like a Chinese girl that stopped and she's like, "Oh, massage, 5,000 yen. I'll give you happy ending." And I'm like, "Jesus fucking Christ." I'm like, "No, first off, I can do a better job jerking myself off than you can. All right." But then it was like the Nigerian scammers were like enforced too. There was like 5 or 6 of them trying to stop me to talk to them. And I was like, at one point, I was like, if you don't fucking get away from me, I'm gonna knock you the fuck out. Because like the benefit is the police are right there, but they don't care because all these gaijins, all these foreigners, like as long as they're all dealing with each other, they don't give a fuck. Don't mess with Japanese people. And because these are the same like Nigerian scammers that are at the fucking Eiffel Tower trying to fucking scam you out of your money for some overpriced souvenirs and shit or whatever. So that was funny. But the more I come here, the more I just feel like this place just makes sense to me more than America sometimes. There are things I like about being American, and don't get me wrong, America is definitely the best country in the world, hands down. But Japanese has a soft spot in my heart, and I'm always gonna love it. And I look forward to the next time I can be here. And I am of the opinion that there are some things in life that just you don't have access to. For me, that seems to be romance, just given how I grew up. First 25 years of my life was so antisocial, so closeted, so reclusive that, I a lot of ways I feel like I missed my window. Maybe there was somebody I could have met earlier on, maybe there wasn't. But now I genuinely only have an eye for Japanese women. They're just the best. I think they're beautiful. I love their demeanor. I love the way they approach things. I love the culture that they come from. And I've got my eye on somebody, but I'm gonna be honest, I think they might hate me. So that sucks. But I don't know. Maybe I figure it out. Maybe I don't. But as I go through life, I think that, and I recently listened to a podcast the other day with fucking John Cena and Joe Rogan, and a lot of things he said made sense. Like, people like me, who I mean, I'm not John Cena. I'm not nearly as talented or as successful as he is, but I live in a small town. Um, I'm not particularly talented. I don't think I'm particularly special. I might have a little bit more determination and willpower than most people, but that's because, all the terrible things that have happened to me in life. And I feel like in spite of that, I was able to overcome that, lose over 100 pounds, and have the body and the physique that I want, and have the interest. And, next year I'm going to be bigger and stronger, and I'm going to take it as far as I can by any means. And I think that when you have the opportunities to do something, if all you need is a little push, take it. Take that opportunity, see where it goes. Maybe you fail, maybe you crash and burn, but you'll get over it. And I think that's what a lot of people do. Because when I grew up and people would be saying like, "Oh, your body's a temple, respect your," no, that's fucking stupid. You don't need to make it sound all fucking sappy and spiritual and dumb like that. If all you need to do is love yourself, love and care for yourself, and sometimes you fail, sometimes you need to like readdress yourself, but as long as you keep trying, as long as you keep showing up, and you want to improve, like genuinely you want to improve, and you keep making an effort, you'll hit that point where you break through. And that's all I tell myself every day. I love exercising. When it's hard, it's easy. When I'm exhausted, when I'm a little injured, when I'm a little strained, when I'm a little exhausted, it's easy for me to get up and just do something. And I think everybody should be aware of that. I don't know what else I really want to talk about here, but, and I'm sure as soon as I hit fucking stop, I'll be like, I fucking forgot that. And maybe I'll make a fucking follow-up video. I don't know. But I hope it was interesting for everybody to listen to. And, yeah, that's it. Maybe I'll make another video. Maybe I won't. No idea. But thanks for listening. If you stayed around, I'll listen to the whole thing. And, if you ever get a chance to come to Japan, I mean, the more Japanese you know, the more friends you have, honestly, I think the better experience you're going to have. You can be a tourist. You can treat it like it's Disneyland, I guess. But for the love of God, look up the culture and how you're supposed to conduct yourself. Don't be an entitled fucking prick American who only cares about their good time. It's such a fucking bullshit way to look at things. You are not the main character. Nobody cares about you the way you care about yourself. It's important to love yourself, but keep in mind that people live here. This is their everyday life. Do you want somebody to come on your lawn, take a fucking fat shit on it, and just fucking leave and parade around and scream and holler? No, you don't. The mentality of I put myself before everybody, me and my family, like, honestly, I fucking hate that mentality. I really do. And if there's anything you can take away from this video, if you've seen it, take the time to do things properly. Don't trample over other people's lives for your good time. Because if you don't do that, I think you'll have a much better experience once you start to connect with the culture and you start to really respect it, to really follow the rules, and to really hone in on what makes this country so great. Because it is great. It's not big like China. It's like literally as big as China with as many Chinese people and stuff like that. But I honestly feel like the culture has so much fucking impact because they're just so skilled, and they take so much time and dedication to hone their crafts and to really like express their culture in a way that is just, it's so irresistible. It's so undeniable. And I feel like I'm always going to love it, and I'm always going to want to know more, and I'm always going to do more. But that being said, I'm not really a normal tourist. Like, I'll Google image search fucking shit. If I can't go there with my friends, I don't give a fuck. Maybe if I had somebody special to go there with me, which at this point would have to be a Japanese girl, I'd feel a little bit differently, But anyway, coming up on 30 minutes. It's kind of a big long watch. But thanks for watching, and maybe I'll do a follow-up video when I think of things that I fucking forgot to talk about. Bye.